Hey, welcome. Episode 1 of Leading Your Legacy. Rug. Saying it out loud is mad, you know? Like, it's just so mad, bro, because you know when you start something that you genuinely was so interested in doing, but like all of this fear and nervousness, anxiety comes about. It's like I just don't know. Am I meant to do this? Is this something that's for me? Like it's exciting still. It's so exciting, and I'm just so glad to have this chance to have a great people. You know, my brother Grace behind the camera. You know, like he's just been supporting and. A lot of people have been saying like, like you should do this, but they're like, I don't know, like everyone's got a podcast nowadays. We're talking, literally everyone's got a podcast and that. But yeah, like, it's such an amazing thing, man. I'm so happy to get this started, and the first thing you're not probably thinking is like, what's this leading your legacy about? So I'm gonna break it down to you, just a little piece. So essentially, how do I describe this the most simple way? I'm not a normal person, innit? Like, you lot might think, oh, what, you're a trading solicitor, or like, I've seen you do this talk somewhere, or like, you think, oh yeah, like, you just do this talk, you just, nah, listen, like, what when it comes to me and like what I'm trying to do, it's just so different, like, because I don't think like a normal person, like, I was actually at an event earlier today, shout out Account, and I was speaking to somebody, and he was telling me how, like, sometimes you meet people and it's almost like you're meeting an alien, because the way that they're thinking, the way they're talking, it's a completely different vibration, it's a completely different energy, the perspective is different. And I don't know what it is, but when I was growing up, I didn't really feel like anybody really got me. Like, like that. Like, you don't feel somebody gets you. Because when I was growing up, I didn't really see many people doing what I wanted to do. So if I wanted to talk about something, no one else was talking about it. When I was 15, I was out here talking about haters and saying about people that just hate on people for no reason. I don't really respect them, and I'm still the same now. To be fair, if you're just hating on people for no reason, then like them ones that just hey, get out of here, get out of here, man. Definitely get out of here, man. But it's definitely something that I was definitely fixated on at very young, which is like, how do I do things that make sense? Do you know what I'm saying? How do I do things that, genuinely make life better for not just me but other people? Because I don't want people to essentially be in a space where they feel I have to be this kind of person and do this kind of thing because everybody else is doing it and just following like sheep in a farm. No, I'm not really like that. I'm always thinking, how do you create a space for people to unlock that side of them that is really intuitive, that's really pertinent to them, and encouraging them to flourish and thrive in a way that nobody else encourages them to do. And that has led to many conversations about concepts I come up with. So when I was in university, I came up with this concept called the New Black. And it's a story still. So when I was back at university, I was watching television, and back when Jeremy Carl was on, it don't run no more, but back when it was on, I was watching it, and there was a guy, and you're gonna see why this is relevant. Don't be thinking they're like, what's this brother talking about? This watching Jeremy Carl thing. It's relevant, trust me. I was watching Jeremy Carl, and he was grilling this guy, this black guy, and he was telling him like, oh, you're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. And obviously Jeremy Carl did that back in the day. He was just grilling everyone. But I was thinking, what? Like, this don't make sense. Like, why is he grilling man so hard? Like, what? Is it because he's black? And then I was thinking, nah, it can't be because it's black, because that would be racist. But then I started thinking, and I was like, oh, maybe it is, People don't really look at us the right way a lot of the time, If you're walking down the street, you might get stopped and searched, or, blacks associated with negativity, death, funerals, and I was like, wow, that's kind of deep, But I was thinking, but what if you made a new kind of black? I was like, raw, like, that's a bit mad, So this is me to myself. So this is how you know, firstly, I'm tapped. Because I'm here watching Jeremy Carl, having a conversation with myself and trying to come up with these ideas of how to further enrich like how black is perceived in mainstream. And that's when I thought about the concept. I was trying to create a movement on it. I wanted people in the community on it. I made a university society based on it. We won awards at university, and then I tried to make it not for profit, not successfully, just given the fact I wasn't in the right space, in the right mind frame to do it, and it was just what it was. But even back when I was 18 and I didn't really have this perspective of longevity, I had this perspective of I just want to get forward for other people's sake and then serve them. I still had the element of service to me, the element of purpose, the element of drive to want others to do well and for people to be perceived in a better way than it had been. So I've always had the idea of legacy and the idea of, leading with purpose. So this actual idea, which you're probably thinking now, finally, but you're actually going to talk about what you're here to talk about. This idea came from the fact that I think legacy is something that we don't talk enough about in society. I think society likes to talk a lot about, that's how we make money. How do we get seen? How do we get notoriety? How do we blow? How do we get rich? A lot of people have these kind of conversations, and as much as I respect people who want to generate money, and I don't want to be broke. Like, let's face it. Like, who does want to be broke? Like, I don't want to be broke. But at the same time, I'm like, there's more to life for me than like just talking about that. Like, what are we here to leave behind? Like, what are we here to do on this earth? Like, what's the purpose of all of this? Because, end of the day, like, life is very short. Like, we don't have all the time in the world. We don't have all the energy in the world. We only exist for a certain amount of years, and then our children have to take over our legacy. Our community to take over legacy. The world is never going to acknowledge who you are forever unless you do something that stands the test of time, right? So from my perspective, I've always thought legacy is so important. And I was on a program, I was called Future Boss, and shout out Future Boss, yeah? And there was one thing that I remember I heard that it really struck me, and the person who said it, they will know in it, because they'll know in it. I'm not gonna say it is. I'm not gonna say it. I promise. I'm not gonna say it. Because I don't want to say it. But I'm not gonna say it. I promise. I'm gonna keep it. But don't know who it is when they said it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They came up to talk to everyone. Yeah. And I remember they went like legacy, and I was like, what? And you know when there's something in your head that just doesn't leave you. That was one of those moments where it never left me. It's like legacy. And it was like, it just came out of a spiritual place. It wasn't like it was something that like he preempted or he was trying to, create for dramatic effect. Man just was like legacy. And I was like, in my head, I was like, rah, that's important. It was something that I knew was important. It wasn't something that I lived in the idea of what is my legacy, what am I leaving behind. And since I had that experience, I've really started to get more into what is my legacy, what is my purpose, who am I as a person. And to be frank, it's meant I've entered the spaces that I normally wouldn't. I've, gone to community events, I've been with people that share my values, I met people that, great, you supporting on this. I've met, people who, just align with me, I met beautiful people, it's made me to the wonderful phase of my life where I'm just connected with such intelligent, bright, vibrant people, and it's just so enlightening to feel that way. And I think it's because of the idea of legacy and what it means, what we're leaving behind, and who we're becoming as people. It's at the forefront of our conversations. It's as much as we banter and we talk about stuff like, like football, like, you're not getting pepped, you're not getting pepped like Guardiola, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, as much as that's still banter, or like, hey, like, what's going on with that thing? Like, I know you're chatting to Mike. As much as these kind of things happen, I feel like it's not the crux of our friendship. It's not the crux of our brotherhood, our sisterhoods. It's not the crux of my relationship. Like, it's not the crux of, like, who I am as a person. It's just something that exists. And for me, it's meant now I'm constantly thinking, what am I leaving behind? What am I doing? Where am I going? Who am I? And to give you a bit of background regarding like who I am and what I stand for. So I would describe myself as somebody, for the purpose of what legacy I want to create, of somebody who wants to inspire, motivate, ensure that people from the communities that are underserved, underrepresented, succeed against adversity, I'm pro-justice, I'm pro-equality, I'm a trainee solicitor at this point in my life, but I'm also somebody who really seeks to challenge the status quo through all the various things I'm involved in, whether it be a creative project with people who are trying to look at, spirituality within the African Caribbean community, or it's looking at, how do we increase the representation of African or Caribbean businesses in global conversations, whether it be like, how do I talk about mental health? Like, whether it be, how do I, consult somebody who really wants my advice and guidance and be a lighthouse for that. I'm somebody who really wants to create and shape narratives that generate impact and vibrancy within not only the African Caribbean diaspora, but global communities who understand what it means to suffer, who understands what it means to go through hardships, who understands that when you're trying to do something in your life, that it's not just about you. It's about the people that are relying on you, depending on you. It's about your daughter, if you got a daughter. It's about your son, if you got your son. It's about your grandfather. It's about your grandmother, about your aunties, your cousins. It's about the people that might depend on you. It's about that homeless man that might not get food, because nobody's looking at him because it doesn't exist. It might be because you're somebody who's thinking about suicide and you don't even know where life is going to you. There's people that are depending on you who think that you are here for a reason, and I really want to cultivate a space for those people's stories and their ideas to be heard, because as much as working in an industry which is very well respected and very well established and notorious for creating such the greatest and most intellectual minds, like Barack Obama was a lawyer, and I'm nowhere near mine, man, you know what I'm saying, shout out Barack, but I really see how the purpose of bringing people together who are here for a reason and live by what they are is what I'm here for. And I really want to share that platform with people. So for those that are going to be coming on to, this in the next few episodes or shows, as I'd like to call them, expect something different. Don't expect to come here and just hear somebody saying, oh yes, I went to X and I was a boss and I succeeded because I am the person that you need to chat. Nah, don't expect that. Expect something different. Expect us to talk about things that matter. Expect us to be here talking about things that maybe you're avoiding. Maybe you're scared to think about. Maybe you live in fear about it. Maybe you don't want to talk about it because no one in your house talks about it. Maybe it's the fact that you're in a relationship and between you two, you don't chat about that because you're both uncomfortable with the fact that you're both not trying to lean into what's real. You both want to live in a fake world. Don't come here and think, I'm sitting in this space trying to lead my legacy and I'm not actually going to confront what I'm going through. This is not that. This is something that is going to be real, authentic, transparent, vulnerable, honest, and we're going to have people who are willing to talk about emotions, willing to talk about pain, willing to talk about trauma, willing to talk about what they're willing to leave behind on this earth when they've gone to a new reality, when they're moving around the world. They're knowing that within all of that success and all of that greatness, it's not about them. It's about those people that are looking to build, grow, develop, systemize, optimize their grind and their values and character. So when you come onto here, I want you to come with an open mind. I don't want you to come onto my platform and the platform that people share with this space and think it needs to be constrained to this, it needs to be constrained to that. Because I want you to be part of the conversation. I want you to feel like this is my space. This is our space. This is a place where we're here to speak, we're here to be candid, we're here to be open, we're here to be honest, and we're here to share what we're going through. Because we're all going through something, I've known many people that go through a lot of things and never talk about them. It's like, the moment that you ask somebody, how are you doing? Autopilot, I'm all right, how are you? And when they say that, they're trying to hide. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not really trying to tell you how they are. They're just trying to deflect how they are doing away from themselves so they don't tell you. I don't want the space to be that. I want you to come in, and if I was on a camera and I say, how are you? I'm talking to you. I'm not talking to that insecure part of you that's trying to neglect how you're doing. I'm trying to talk to you, the person, the human, the spirit who's living in a physical form. So please come onto this platform and share, engage, motivate, inspire, and just be present. Don't feel the need to shy away from speaking your truth, speaking of your legacy and what you're looking to leave in this earth, because I can guarantee you, this space is a one that will grow. It'll be a space that's one that will develop. And there may be people that you might listen to and say, I don't relate to them. And that's completely fine. Not everybody's legacy is the same. But when you come into this space and you're talking about your narrative, I want you to come into this space, speaking your narrative on this platform in a way that's true to you. Even if you're just sitting down, sipping a coffee, don't feel the need to say, I'm just sipping down, dripping a coffee, man. I don't need to engage in this. Nah, share your legacy. Share if you connect. Share if you don't connect. Because this is not about being right or being wrong. This is about leading your legacy. And that's what this is going to be about. So I hope that you can join us for future conversations. I've got so many people that really want to share their stories and their platforms and their ideas on who they are, what they stand for, their values. You know, you might even see Great come a couple of times, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know if that's going to happen, fam. Don't say that.
You might even see Great come.
Yeah, in a valley, maybe. In a valley.
You might see Great, you might not. But if anything, life's still great. So, you know what I'm saying? But, yeah, man. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you guys really take in, you know, what this space is all about. Hope this gets to be a real place that connects people who might not have known each other from across the world to share how they're leading their legacies in various spaces. And I hope that the next time I see you, you're leading your legacy that bit better. So, thanks for tuning in, and until the next one, the marathon continues.